Welcome to EVE Online. I'm Major Freak. Let's get serious. I've been doing, as I said, my first video on this subject. I've been doing this for quite a while. I've been mining since, God, before 2003, in a game called Jumpgate. Yeah, I did a lot of analysis then, and I still do. I used to do a lot of analysis around 2008 to about 2010. I missed out on the whole Incarna fracas and the scandals that evolved. Missed out on watching The Economist do... Actually, you know what? I think I still have my finger on the pulse, so I do recall watching The Economist talk at the Fan Fest in 2012. I rewatched it just before making this video. So I've looked at the prices for Tritanium. I've seen it since I didn't see it when it started at 1, but it was definitely 2-isk when I joined the game and started mining with my buddies. Yeah, they were mining in maulers, and I was to guard their cruisers because they didn't have any drones. So yeah, it's been a long haul from Omen mining to... Never got to a battleship miner because by then they had the barges and the hulks with their expanded cargo holds because they didn't have ore holds back then. And yeah, and here we are today. Here we are today watching as the shortage is now in full effect, but the prices of Tritanium are steadily dropping. And we're in something that I believe is way above my pay grade, but since I watched The Economist talk about it, and I'll of course link the video, he mentioned a concept that I'm just going to label speculation. Now, Tritanium has gone to 6.5 in the past, but something strange happened. But then again, not so much. So on February 11th, the price skyrocketed on all the minerals, and then again on the next nerf announcement on April Fool's Eve, we got another price spike. Now, something interesting happened during the video of The Economist, he was talking about how when they announce things, it causes a spike. A change, he said. And then the price settles back down to normal. So, since this is steadily decreasing and there's no massive sell-offs, there was hoarding, of course, that happened, and that, of course, is natural, and this price hike. But nobody's like driving it down completely, right? Like they did when they drove it up. So this, I assumed it was just going to go back up. But after watching the video from The Economist, that our ex-economist, he talked about it normalizing. And I believe it's not going to go past 10 anymore. I swear, like, you know, when I first was talking about it, it was like, okay, we went from 6 to 8, and then we're going to go from 8 to 10, and then it'll plateau. But no, it's what I'm getting now is it's just mere speculation. It'll drop back to 6.5. It's done this before. Yeah, I'm in, and just to show where I'm at, I'm in this bracket right here. Okay, I'm not... I can't by any means brag about, you know, what my credentials are about making ISK. It's a good website, actually. I'll link that as well. So I've been doing a lot of studying on this subject. And here's the where's the Tritanium? Pirate Tritanium. Right here, I believe. Okay, here's the Tritanium, and this was 2014 to 2016, and it was hovering between 5 and 6.5, right? Okay. And this one shows in 2017 that it was between 5 and 4. Okay. Alright. And that one's PLEX, so I'll ignore that. Now, I have an old data. I started doing this in January of 2019. And 7th of March, the price was around 4.3 as well. It dipped to gain. And mostly I found the major highlight of me tracking the prices for Tritanium at least, is before February 11th. For at least a year, other markets other than Jita were the best place to sell minerals. It was not Jita. Jita was the worst place to sell your reprocessed minerals, and more on that later. So that's that. That was the state of the economy, and I think I can probably whip through where he had some great data. Bear with me here. It's worth watching, actually. I think it's coming up soon. No. There. Right here. So 2546 if you want to skip to the part, but he was definitely mentioning about change.
Started right away. Prices continued to increase, and once we released Crucible, people didn't try to understand what's going on and started hoarding materials. Once stability was gained, prices started to decline again, and people now understand better how the system works.
Okay, so there you go. The exact quote. So, let's move on. So what we're looking at is that has been an ebb. This is now a flow. It's going to ebb back to 6.5, I believe. Okay, so if you're hoarding, get rid of it now. Okay, so let's move on to pyrite. Plateaued really quick after like, where's the, I believe it's right, where's it, second 12, right there. Okay, right there. So right here is when, right there is when it skyrocketed, and then it just plateaued, and that's an anomaly because pyrite's the only one to do that, I believe. Let's check. Like, not seeing went up there and it's dropping and didn't really increase. And then Mexilon, Mexilon's an interesting story, but yeah, it increased, but it's increasing. Megasite's interesting, isn't it? Look at that. Crazy, huh? And Isogen, right, sorry. So Isogen and pyrite plateaued, went up, and Alright, sorry about that. Wife aggro. And Zydrine started to climb, but has really taken off now. It's looking like it's plateauing, but Zydrine and Megasite are some interesting things happening with that. And of course, Exelon, who knows? There's interesting stuff about the Mexelon because it's hard to, the ore that it contains it is hard to compress or something, or I don't know exactly. I'll have to investigate further. But yes, it's definitely a choke point in nullsec for making capitals. Okay, that's that dealt with. Let's move on to the dense and stable Feldspar. Stable Feldspar hasn't really dropped, as you can see. Like the price of that's pretty much mirroring. And it, by the way, sell your compressed ore at Jita. It's not worth refining and hauling to market. You'll break even basically because of the fees and the processing loss and all the and the sales. Yeah, it's just, trust me, you'll barely break even, and some things, yeah, you'll actually make a profit. So now then, let's move on to something else interesting. PLEX. Okay, now PLEX used to be just 1 unit, not 500, to gain a subscription. And let's bring up that. So back in 2008, the PLEX, to play for free, and as the economist was saying, they want it to be stable because they don't want to shut out players who want to play for free. That could be marketing BS, but for now I'm going to humor it because, you know, I mean, they did have the potential and the capability of lowering the price. But let's look at it. So it started at 300, and that's, remember, that's for 500 units. That's 300. Okay. So right about here, when he was right here, was it yeah, right here is when he was talking about. By the way, this was when the riot happened after the whole walking in stations burn Jita happened a year later, just after Mittani got banned. And so don't confuse the two. It's hard to recall history, and the actual riot of the Incarna release happened after a memo was leaked, not the bulletin, not the Fearless Bulletin that's most talked about when, you know, the pros and cons of it, and that I don't believe at all. But the memo, so it definitely confirms that it was not a question of the Fearless Bulletin. It was a statement. They were going to do it. And of course I've quoted bits of it, and they were totally going to do it. The $70 monocle, which is funny because I haven't looked at it, but let's do it now because that would be very interesting, wouldn't it? Station services. Where's the store? So used to it being, the store used to be here, I think. I forget. I don't use it enough. Pero. Misk. Prosthetics, outerwear, headgear, hairstyles, or tops, accessories. Am I just Now is not the time to lag out. What is going on? Oh, okay, misc, right. Male. That's very annoying. Headwear. I'm assuming headwear, right? Monocle. Sorry about this. I thought it was going to be easy. What the hell is going on? That's not a monocle. What the? Spelling it wrong? Monocle? Pharaoh. Pharaoh. Okay, this is just getting annoying. They must have taken... Did they take it out? Sorry for the discussion. You skip through this. No, not clothes, right? Outer eyewear. Clothes. Feet. Eyewear. The hell? Yes. Yeah, I'm just gonna bypass the whole thing. I think they deleted monocles. I swear I saw them, like in prosthetics, right? Prosthetics. I don't understand. Yeah, I guess they got rid of it. So I can't, like, match it to what it... Never mind. It was a stupid era. Anyways. Alright, so... So 500 million for one PLEX. 130-day PLEX for a count. So that was 1 million per PLEX nowadays. Okay, and that's how much you would get if you bought, you know, 26 bucks of for Canadian, 26 bucks. You get 1.24 billion ISK. Back then, I would only get 500 million ISK. So it's just double, just over double what it was back in the days when the economist was talking about it in that video. Alright. And that was for 2013, and I'll quickly look at the PLEX because he's got it at the top right here. So this is the PLEX between 2014 and 2016, and I believe, forget when they turned it into, I think it's when I was gone. So this is, so it went from that, you know, 600, 500, 600 up through a billion and up to here. So it was past a billion, so it was double. So this is about what it was. This is what it is now, and this is what it was. Okay, so we'll go look at PLEX prices. Okay, and it's dropped down to here. Okay, but it was up a lot. So it was up a huge amount, and now it's slowly dropped. So that was getting pretty attractive for people to pay ISK to bling their accounts. And but what the good doctor was talking about in the video seemed to emphasize that the attractiveness for them was just stability, that it didn't want to shut players out playing for free. And the gist of that, I presume, is that if they can't play for free, the player will just stop playing. Which I find, I hate to say it, but disingenuous. They had the real numbers to look at it. If they had the, maybe he didn't have the tools to spot which player was quitting because he could no longer play for free, you know? To me, it's like you stop your alts. You stop playing with your alts. You just, you know, what do you do? I'll just play the game, and, you know, I'll just pay monthly. Fly with my bros and whatever. But he's implying that those kind of people, since they're used to playing for free with lots of accounts, they'll simply stop. And I'm assuming this is people who are just basically farming. But somebody in nullsec who's plexing their account via nullsec anomalies is not going to suddenly stop playing a game just because he can't carebear and null. That's just ridiculous. I don't believe it at all. But I've been frequently wrong in the past, so I'll let you to judge whether the good doctor was telling the truth or not, or just fudging the numbers to make it look good for the null bears and the null blocks and the people who can have a stranglehold on the CSM. So that's PLEX, and that was a high point, I believe, and it's currently where it was around that point a few years ago. So actually more than a few years ago. Okay, so PLEX is done. I just have tataras on here because I'm curious. I eventually want to get one. I've got a jump freighter. I've got most of what I need, but with the tatara comes this thing, because a low sec athanor with a Tech 1 rig, or Tech 1 rig, will do the same processing amount as a tatara with a Tech 2 rig in high sec. So eventually I want to get there, but other people have done it already, I believe. There are nearby processing plants that are excellent places to reprocess your ore, but again, if you're gonna sell stuff, just take the compressed ore and sell it at Jita. Okay. All right. This stuff I've been taking a careful eye out, because I say, hey, this stuff is cheap. You get it. I just want to keep an eye on it, make sure it's continuing to be cheap. Your best bet for defending your upwell is DPS, and tacking up only your DPS is the smart move. It's only 100 million ISK around for 2 multi-roll and 2 ballistics. That's what, $500 million, and it's well worth investing in. Plus train up the skills to level 5. It doesn't take that long. Raitarus has always been cheap. Athanors, surprisingly, I was saying they were going to drop way down to below here, but they really haven't. I guess when they did reset the R16s and R8s and low sex and null, so there was a lot of shuffling going on, so that's why I'm assuming it hasn't dropped precipitously. But I'm assuming because with the low power on abandoned stuff, it's going to drop like a rock. So it is on a trend downwards, and that was when this was February. So it went up in price because of that reset, and now it's going down steadily. So eventually it'll hit rock bottom, which I assumed, I said before, it was going to be 450 million. Astrahus is pretty much stable. Keeping an eye on that. Not in the mood to get another one. Probably at my max right now. Maybe one more. They're addictive. Recommend getting skins for your miners. It helps you figure out which one you're looking at the present moment quickly. There's a lot of switching between clients. Definitely recommend that. And the skiff as well. Skiff and prospect. It's prospect for the asteroid belts, for sure. And skiff, of course, if you're worried about, ganking. But you've seen my other videos, so that's done. Moving on. Okay, so this is the ships, and the one thing I hated about the monthly economic report is that it lacked depth to it. It didn't show production per constellation or resource production per constellation, and it didn't show what types of ships were being built and sold and stuff like that. I really wanted to know that, and it never did. So I never pay attention to the economic reports. They're just garbage. So what sold the most? Catalyst. Catalysts. So it wasn't, it's get that, there we go. So I might have been hiding the volume for quite a while there. That would suck. But to me, volume on any of this stuff, you just, now we're getting into the volume stuff we got to pay attention to. So this is hovering right about there. That's a good number, is 1,000. It's hovering at 1,000, and this is 1,000 per day, and this is the forge. 1,000 per day being sold and bought. Crazy. Venture's pretty close. It's really up there. Average is about half that. Okay. Nothing comes close. You'd be surprised. Next in line is the Astro. Astro's, look at that, really steady. Really steady. Atron. Yeah, there's some peaks, but I went by the average of, what I'm seeing here, right? Calenti Shuttle, you'd think that was the most, but no, it's not that high, actually. It's pretty funny, actually. That's talking about, yeah, we're just topping 400, not getting over it. Now, of course, the Gila, look at that, steady, and this for the whole year. Look at this, crazy, huh? Heron, also, you know, good little ship. Merlin, good little ship. Tristan, good little ship. Galente, right? Think about that. Atron, Heron. Oh, sorry. Heron is, sorry. Caldari, Galente. Gotta get my ships right, don't I? All right. Going down from there is the Algos, the Badger, the Hookbill. I don't know why people like the Hookbill, but it's a good seller. Caracal, of course. Cormorant. The Gnosis. You think the Gnosis would be sold more, but it's really not. Hawk. Hecate. Look at that, eh? Solid. Kestrel. Kikamora. Now, Kikamora is the one precursor that's really fluctuating in price all the time. It's very fascinating. Punisher. Rifter. Slasher. Stiletto. Thrasher. And Vexer. Alright. So, Ares. Breacher. Confessor, Corax. That'll be the Council's diplomatic shuttle. It's pretty funny. I didn't think that would even make the list. Coveter. Now, I believe Coveter is the only one that fits into this high bracket. Nope, the Retriever does as well. So the Coveter and the Retriever, the barges, fit into that, but I don't believe any Exuma fits here. So let's go to the Crow. Drake. Yeah, the Drake's pretty big there. Dracovac. Oh, there's another one that's going up and down. My apologies. Epithal. Yeah, Comet. Ferox. I'm just naming it out loud so I pause long enough. Garmer. Hurricane. Interesting rise in price, huh? Imperial Navy Slicer. Incursus. Yeah, look at that jump, and that was, of course. Of course. Well, March hit. Wait. Wait, yeah, that was February 11th. And this was... It's interesting. I think somebody was trying to play the market too, eh? Look at that. Interesting. Because it definitely drove up the prices. There's another one that I want to... That would be an outlier. Right there. I put in the outlier folder. But it's pretty steady. So, it's in this one. Ishtar. See it up and down. Yeah, the demand for it. Waxing and waning. Eidolon. Look at the jumps, the spikes. Look at the jump prices and the spikes. Jackdaw. Don't know what happened then. No idea. That could have been a YouTuber talking about the Jackdaw and using the auto targeting missiles in high sec for anomalies and signatures and combat signatures in high sec. Here's the Loki. Don't know why it spiked in price. Magnate. I believe it was the spikes. Somebody was definitely manipulating prices. Malediction. Don't know why it spiked then. Manticore. Nereus. Osprey. Praxis. Interesting how the price jumped then. Just stayed that way for a while. Purifier. Procure. Purifier. So all three barges are good sales, but none of the exhumers. Retribution. Retriever. Saber, the only the only interdictor that made the lists at all. Stratios, solid sales for a cruiser. Pirate faction, solid. Sinesis, I was surprised the Sinesis even made the list. But yeah, there you go. Tengu. And of course the only strategic to make the list, I believe. No, the Loki, sorry. The Loki and the Tengu. And the worm. Alright, so we did. And now we're here. And this is the biggest list. I won't bother going through all of these. This is the list. The list of the ships that were sold daily at between 550 and 100. So you can pause the video and check that if you want. But yeah. And the barely there were some interesting ones. Yeah, the Falcon, Golem, Hurricane Fleet issue, don't know the use of that. Hyena, Curies, Kieran, Mackinac, Price Jump, hey? Or Noctis, Oracle, Pilgrim, my favorite ship, Porpoise, second favorite ship. And here's a Scimitar, the Talus, and this one barely made the list. And the outliers were these. Massive, I believe this started a huge spike and price war, and I don't know why it's going up so high, and I think it's just because of market manipulation. Typhoon, I'm looking at price spikes and judging it to be that's why the price is going up. I can't find any other reason. Supply issues, not demand, I'm assuming. The Vexor Navy issue, and this is one's an outlier because it just goes crazy. Like, it's enough to make the list, and I should have actually put it up there, but it was just such a, well, everybody knows how nerfed it got, and it used to be so high, of course, and I would have kept it at between the 200 and 400, but it's down now to between, 100 and 200 now. Yeah, 200, 400, down by half. So that was an odd one, definitely odd. And the Vigil was just, I don't even understand that. It's just all over the place. What are they using that for? No idea. And that is it. That is the entirety of my analysis. And I'll upload that and link all those pages I showed.